Hello and welcome to Making Sense of Financial Statements, presented on behalf of the Victorian Council of Social Services as part of the Clearinghouse Rural and Regional Training Program. My name is Michael McGann and I'm a Senior Project Manager for Matrix on Board, a consultancy company that works exclusively with non-profit organisations, building capacity in financial management, management support and governance. My background is in financial services, where I've spent the past 5 years working with small to medium-sized financial planning firms to help them achieve their goals and objectives. I hold a Diploma of Financial Services and a Master's in Organisation Dynamics, and at Matrix I work with CEOs and boards of not-for-profit organisations to help them to develop their management capacity through business and strategic planning. I'd like to welcome you to these training programs, which will introduce you to financial statements, some common accounting methods, and the importance of this information for boards when they make decisions regarding the current and future capability of your organisation. Accompanying this presentation is a participant manual, which can be downloaded from this site. If you have previously attended one of the workshops that were conducted, it is important to note that the presentation has been altered in structure to accommodate the short video format. However, the content is unchanged and can be found in your participant manual. In this, Program 4, we discuss how to build a budget and how they are used. The budget is the predictive tool used by organisations to plan the year's expenditure and to measure financial activity against the plan. It is usually closely associated with the organisation's business plan because it reflects the predicted cost of delivering services for the year. The budget allows the board to answer, with some confidence, how much will it cost to get where we want to get to. If the organisation is funded, the budget is also used as the basis for any funding submission, and the organisation may be required to acquit or explain how the funding was spent in the year against the budget which was originally submitted for the grant. An annual budget covering your financial year is an essential tool in managing organisational finances. It is essential when a budget is created that it is approved by the board or management committee. It is essential that the board or management committee have scheduled reviews of the budget so that they can continue to track the organisation's financial position, and the budget should be varied if necessary. Budgets should be prepared conservatively and must be reviewed regularly to ensure their ongoing accuracy. Budgets are projections based on existing information. Budgets can be wrong, so they must be reviewed and changed by the board if they are wrong. 1 year's budget should always be the basis for the next budget, and your organisation's budget planning can start as early as 3 months before the financial year begins. Please refer to the participants manual for a sample budget, and please be aware that the figures have been annualised for ease of reading. So what types of budgets are generally used? The simplest way to start to build the budget is to base the new year's budget on the previous year's actual income and expenditure. Adjust these figures to take into account grant indexation, inflation, wage increases and any changes in services provided or arrangements with suppliers. Most non-profit organisations would aim for a break-even budget, income less expenses equals zero, or a modest surplus, say a small percentage of turnover. For organisations which run a number of identifiable projects, then the total organisation's budget should be the sum of each project or cost centre's budget, plus a core budget if structured that way. When preparing project budgets, try and talk with other organisations that have run similar projects, or brainstorm with your own staff to get as many ideas as possible. Using the funding submission for the project, if one exists, is an essential ingredient. Make notes about how you arrived at your calculations. If you use Excel, you can have a notes column which you can hide, or use the comments function. You can also write it down on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be high-tech. However you record it, do keep this information. Having the rationale behind the original figure is very useful information and can save a considerable amount of time and work if you need to revise the budget. When seeking new grant funds, it is important to budget comprehensively so that the organisation doesn't have to subsidise the project or service without having planned to. If your organisation has a number of discretely funded projects, it is reasonable to make charges to projects for overheads and labour costs and to recover this to your core operations. There are a number of ways that this can be accounted for. Organisations may choose to attribute all costs across all projects according to some formula, or they may choose to have the core or admin project bear these costs and then charge the project a management fee. This may be calculated as a percentage of the project income or as a proportion of an EFT or effective full-time staff management fee formula. When building your budget, you need to decide if you will budget for a surplus, deficit or zero. Your previous year's budget will be a guide. Reporting against your budget provides a context for your financial information and allows managers to make informed judgments about the organisation's finances. A good budget analysis report will show actual income and expenditure for the period against the budget for the same period. You can compare month by month, year to date, or both. It should have a variance or difference column, showing the dollar difference between budgeted and actual income and expenditure. Expressing the difference as a percentage in an extra column makes it even easier to spot unusual activity at a glance. So that's a look at budgets. In the 5th session, we'll discuss financial statements.